Hello and welcome to the third video of Gothic Computer Builds. Today we're going to be attempting to load on Windows XP POS Edition onto an actual hard drive and have it working in an actual system. It's not um, window, a virtual window. This is actually going to be a live system. Well, somewhat alive. It's just a motherboard, a power supply, and a hard drive. As you can probably see here, my laptop SSD has been adapted. It's plugged in there. Down here, I have uh, the Windows XP loaded here, and I'm gonna try to get it to go. So let me give you a quick tour of the machine. This is, of course, a Gigabyte model GA-EP45-UD3R. It's got 6 regular SATA ports and 2 G SATA ports, which are actually a little bit slower than the normal regular SATA ports. 8 gigabytes of memory for 2 gigabytes. This is running what is it running? I think it's a Core 2, I believe. A Core 2 Duo. And the graphics card is a standard Dell graphic card. I bought them in a lot of 5. So that's it. So I have booted this up to make sure everything goes up to the opening screen, just to give you guys just a heads up. I have done a little bit of work on this, but I haven't checked to see if this is actually going to load into the into the machine. I was going to be able to. So we're going to do that together. Oops. And then we'll see the never-ending screens of death. So, whoops. Do this without turn that off. That way you guys can see. Power's on. Okay, here we go. Power is on. I'm gonna hit the F12 to get into the boot menu. It's gonna go through its little thing here. No drives detected. It'll ask me what drive I want to boot from. I believe it's USB HDD. You guys can see that, which is the right one. So that is Windows XP. Sorry for the cables right in the way. I don't know what I can do. And those cables are kind of necessary. Carefully bend them down. I don't want to mess with that one. That one's just bending back up anyways. So I guess we're just going to have to live with it. I'll sit here and hold it like this. So forgive the wobbliness. Try to hold it as still as I can. While we're waiting, I'm going to give you a funny little story about this fan right here. That's actually not the original fan that was in there. That fan was actually changed up because the one that was in there was no good, and I couldn't get the screws to go back in it, so I had to find replacements. And I just happened to have some plastic screws that fit perfectly and had the nuts, plastic nuts. So that got installed just by a wing and a prayer. So anyways, now we're at this opening box here. We'll hit next. I'm going to do the interactive. Oops. Hold on a second here. Oh, wrong one. Sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once here. Oops, sorry about that. Let me get you back in here. Sorry, guys. I wonder if I can put you right here and then just kind of tilt you up. That seems to... There we go. You might hear a little whirring from the fan, but you guys are stable. Now I can do what I gotta do. Okay, we'll hit accept. And then we'll type in my name. Ooh, how did I do that? Must have the cap locks on. That's kind of funky, huh? We'll do no additional storage drives required. Now we're going to know whether we can continue or not. Alright, that's fine. Create partition. So it is accepting it. That's good. That's fine if we don't have 1 megabyte unpartitioned space. This only takes about a gig anyways. Oh. No? Oh, I'm gonna hit that. Just leave everything as is. And we'll leave that as is. Hit next. Huh. It's weird. When you do it in virtual Windows, it's only about a gig. This is about almost 5 gigs. That's alright. Still got plenty of space. I'm gonna have to turn you guys around. So I'm gonna put you down here. You probably won't have to listen to the. Can look at my beautiful storage bin. Oh. Okay. I'm not going to worry about the TCP settings right now, so I'm just going to hit next, and then just hit next again. Make sure everything looks good, which it does. We'll hit install. Hopefully that's not making too much noise for you guys. Sorry. And like I said, unfortunately, this is the only place I can set you and you can see it without me having to hold you or having to look over wires. So it looks like it's formatting hard drive C right now. I'll see if I can put a timestamp to where the end of this is if you want to just skip over this. I completely understand. This is boring. So if you guys want to skip just the end of this, I'll try to find a timestamp and leave it at the end. I mean, leave it in the comments so you can skip over this. It's at 64%. That's not bad. It's doing pretty good. So far, so good. I'm a little surprised that I was able to actually get an SSD to work as a hard drive. Which is nice if you don't. Which would be nice for this kind of system. If you didn't want anybody using the system, you could just take the SSD out and they wouldn't be able to use the system. So I can see the USB blinking away back there. Oh, I got a cute little story to tell you guys too about that USB. So most of my drives are bigger drives, and I'm usually used up for like Windows 10 or Norton or whatever other utility drivers I have. And I don't have very many small drives. Oh, hold on one second. I'm just going to reboot here. So finding a hard drive, a smaller hard drive, or a flash drive I should say, is not very easy. So I managed to find one and it didn't work at all. The BIOS is all screwed up. Let me just make sure this is going to boot back into... Okay, it is good. It's booting from the drive. That's really good. So it realizes the drive's there. So sitting there trying to mess with it, and I said, nah, the heck with it. So I'm digging through all my collection. You saw that little caddy there. I mean, that top drawer is filled with flash drives. I mean, filled. Flash drives, adapters and everything. So I managed to find another 8 gigger and another 16 gigabyte. And it was lucky that I found it. I kind of lost what I was doing. That's what happens when you lose your mind, folks. Just kidding. So basically, well, make a long story short, luckily I found another drive. Oh, it was a copy of, that's what I wanted to say. It was a copy of another program I had, so luckily I was able to just wipe it out and able to put XP on this one. But luckily I found something. It's not very easy to find, like I said, it's not easy to find small capacity drives in this house. So now that I'm done rambling, I'll shut up for a minute and let you guys watch this. So we are booting from the drive and we're loading up all the drivers. Like I said, I've done this on a virtual machine and I had no problems getting it up and running, and it was going pretty good. It doesn't take up a lot of space. It only takes up, like I said, for the virtual Windows, it only takes up about 1.5 gigs. I guess it can sense between the virtual Windows and like a regular machine like this, and adjust for the size. Now, if I remember, it should reboot shortly. And again, I'll put a timestamp if anyone wants to just skip over these boring parts. Unfortunately, right now I don't have an editing program, but I am gonna get one. When I do videos, I gotta have one. Should never give up the one I had. It was really good. Actually, I liked it. Oh, did I mention I didn't think I mentioned what the power supply was. The power supply is a Corsair 750 watt power supply. It has SATA and IDE connectors, but it also has a bunch of PCI power adapters, so you could plug like multiple stuff in. Because actually, quick story about where this motherboard came from. It came from a gigantic it's not a tower, I wouldn't call it a tower computer. It was more vertical than horizontal. Okay, here we go with the next boot up. So it was just a monster, and it was out in the rain, it was rusted, and it was hard to take apart, and the latch for the door broke, and I had to jerry rig it, and I just got sick of it, and I said, the heck with it. But I kept, the power switch and all the other peripherals that go off the side. Yeah, and kept the motherboard, of course. I guess, this is a good little setup for doing tests like this, or experiments. But that thing was a monster. It was just humongous. And don't worry, this is normal. It does have to boot up a few times. Oops. Just noticed you guys are right in that sun, aren't you? I mean, light. And that's not so bad. And the stranger thing is this operating system is still being, you can still download this from the Microsoft website. There's actually a site where you can go and actually get this ISO. Which is a stranger thing. And support only, support supposedly stopped for this only 2 years ago. Although this is from 2009. So this system has been active for over 10 years. Well, over 10 years, yeah, 13 years, 14 years actually. I think this is it. I think we're about to boot into the main screen. Yep. Okay, so you type in administrator and then your password. Oops, I must have admin. Oh, I had spelled administrator right. Okay, so you type in administrator, correctly spelled, obviously. And here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Windows XP POS Ready 2009, running on a very bare bones system. You'll see in a second. You'll say keep my computer up to date. So I don't really know if that still applies. There it is. See it? Keep your computer up to date. So I don't know if I clicked on that, would it actually give me the updates that I need? Or will I say, nope, this is no longer continued? It's a good question. So basically that's it. I mean, I've taken up almost 25 minutes of your time. Hope you enjoyed this video and showed you that it's possible to install actually, you know what? One more thing I want to try before we say goodbye. So I'm going to shut this down. And I'm going to try to take the SSD out and then boot the system back up. See, I bet you 10 to 1 it won't boot up. Because it won't be able to find the hard drive. Okay. Carefully take this out. Okay. Having some issues with this CPU fan. I have to do some work on that. Oops. Forgot to take out the USB. No, actually, wait a minute. No, that's exactly what I thought it would do. It's saying, set up LDR, couldn't open drive, multi-0, disk 0, RDisk 1, partition 1, which probably means it couldn't find the drive that needs to run the system, which is what I thought it would do. So if we wanted to disable the system, power switch turns it on, but it won't turn it off. Oh, there it goes. It's very weird. Okay, let's put the drive back in. Take out the USB because we don't need that. Come on. Okay. Power on. And this should boot fine. What the heck was that? Oh. Oh, I see why. Because the cable was right in the way. That's why it wasn't starting up. That's not good. But anyways, as you can see, works perfectly. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.